Much more, but he's on mine. The blonde bomber, Terry Bradshaw.
Did you compare him to Kevin White, Alex?
I wouldn't put that label on him because I do think he's better than Kevin. So, I mean, Ohio State receiver, you could essentially end the evaluation and the analysis there because that coaching and what they do with wide receivers at Ohio State is awesome.
I don't give a damn how young he is. We are not leaving out Patrick Mahomes. You're the young goat. The young goat.
What's good, YouTube? What's poppin', fellas?
Not much. What's going on with you,
How's it going,
Terrence?
Another day of fantasy football. So
Hell yeah.
poppin'.
Yeah. Did you guys see Aaron Rodgers going off on Pat McAfee when he was like, Pat McAfee basically at the end of the show is like, I'm going to give you the floor to say whatever you want. And he just goes on this. Basically, he says it's going to be his last season. He knows it is. That's why he only signed a 1-year deal with the Steelers. Then he starts going on a rant. His wife wants to remain private. She wants to stay out of the public eye. She didn't sign up for this and just went on this big long rant. I'm like, if she could have waited a year, then married you and been into the spotlight. Instead, she chose to marry you in your final year, where probably one of the biggest years you're going to have spotlights on you in a while. And you think she's going to be able to stay out of it? No, she knew what she was signing up for. That's part of the thing of marrying Aaron Rodgers, as far as I'm concerned. What do you guys think?
I married a celebrity, but I didn't sign up to be in the public eye. Shut the up. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah. I was going to say, isn't she also a celebrity?
I don't know who it is. Like, do
Okay.
you know?
No. Oh, no. That's right. He broke up with the superstar that he was with a couple of years ago, right? With the Jets.
Yeah,
They
she
had
broke
that.
up with him.
Yeah.
And this is somebody else, so I don't know where he met this girl.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's the whole thing, though, right? Like, he's Aaron Rodgers. And even if you don't know sports, like, you know Aaron Rodgers. He's always been in the public eye. State Farm commercials. Do you watch TV? You knew what you were getting into.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
He's just standing up for his wife. I get that. But, I mean, come on.
Yeah. And like, it really, if you knew you were going to start being snap photos, leave your wedding ring at home.
Yeah,
Then nobody would be asking about her. The only
Right.
reason they are is because you wore that ring in the first place. And it was like, where's this coming from?
second.
And everybody
Yeah,
thought
right.
at first he was just throwing it on there for fun.
Yep. Who knows? I mean, the last year thing, you and I touched a little bit offline about it, but my whole thing is like, at this point, whatever the Steelers get from him is a benefit, assuming that it's anything better than what they've had the last few years with quarterback play, not last year, because Fields did look good. Russ had a couple games and then fell off a cliff, but the way Russ ended, I think Rodgers can do better than that.
Well, you'd hope. Like, he needs some time, obviously, because he's not as fast and as agile as before. So
Right.
you got to hope your line can hold up, and you got to have a run game, and he's got to be okay relying on the run game as well, and just only passing when need be, right? Like, save that arm.
Yep.
So, but the first thing I heard when he went in the building was he started talking to Arthur Smith to start changing the playbook to a little bit more pass happy.
Yeah, and like I said, I think it was last week on our show that the one time that Arthur Smith was pass heavy is when he had Matt Ryan. So this, I don't think, is going to be a typical Arthur Smith offense. I think the big thing is going to be efficiency. Like I said, he wants to run the ball and then have that efficient passing of Aaron Rodgers, but that also requires Rodgers to be efficient with his passing, and that's something we haven't seen a lot of the last couple seasons.
Yeah, I just think it's crazy that he chooses that division to do his final year. Not that he had much choices, but you are going to get beat the hell up for like 6 games.
Yep.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, those are rough games, even against the Browns, like, and the Bengals. Like, they just find ways to beat each other up. It's a rough division. Speaking of that, Justin Tucker was also suspended today for 10 games.
I expected that one. The only thing that I see as kind of a surprise is that it happened now when he's not on a team. It wasn't let's wait and see. It was, nope, we're gonna smack this down now.
Well, that's
Just-
it probably was coming down the pipe. That's probably why they let him go. It was coming
Yep.
down. So.
Yep.
He probably just go ahead and retire. 10 games. I don't know. I guess he could come back and help a team. I don't know if kickers just fall off totally, but I guess he could come back and help the team.
Well, it depends. Like, obviously, he was having a rough season and low percentage of all time because of what was going on in the background that we weren't aware of. And he probably knew it was coming because the police were probably talking to him and the club was probably talking to him. The NFL was probably going, what the hell's going on? So he's probably had way too much to think about than actually kicking field goals. So who knows if he comes back with a clear head? People don't care. They'll put him on a team. Like, he'll be a Cowboy at the very least.
Yeah,
Well, no, they got that guy they love though. Yeah, that's right. What's his name?
Yeah, it's probably about time for you to retire. I wouldn't be surprised you hear during this suspension that he decided to let it go.
Yeah, I wonder what if there's a precedent for that, like a guy retiring with a suspension. Like, is there any kind of fine or penalty or something you'd have to pay? Because that'd be kind of messed up. You're about to get suspended. I'm just gonna retire.
Well, I mean, is a suspension is not getting paid, so not getting paid and not able to go to the facility. So I don't see nothing, being a
Well, he's not on a team though, so he's not getting paid anyway.
Yeah, but what's it matter? So that's what Terrence is saying. It doesn't matter because he's retiring. Nobody's going to pay him anyways. So then if he was say retires, comes back, decides he wants to come back next year, he'll still have to serve those 10 games.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. It's just one of those things that's looming over there. I think Ray Rice had something similar too, right?
Yeah, and that's why nobody ever signed him.
Yeah.
So it's one of those situations. And then another fun one, the arbitrator ruled that the NFL, which basically is Roger Goodell, did tell franchise to not guarantee so much money in contracts after the Deshaun Watson one.
That sounds like a NFLPA case for sure.
Oh yeah, like it's like, what are you doing screwing with my money?
Yeah, right? Sounds like collusion right there.
Oh, I guarantee you, it wasn't just Goodell. That is the owners getting together and say, let's not do this again.
No, it was apparently there was like memos from the NFL down to the clubs saying don't do this. So that's basically telling them no more fully guaranteed contracts. But there's been some since, like some of these rookie deals was like
they're gonna have to. At the end of the day, look, the players are gonna use whatever leverage they have, and power to them. I just don't want to get to the point where the people that get the guaranteed contract be sitting out like the NBA. Oh, it's ridiculous in the NBA. Like they just, hey, I need to take a mental health day. And like that man Kyrie Irving be holding teams, like I said, under distress because that man would be like, man, I had to get back in my headspace. He took off 2 weeks. You just don't know, like so that's the only thing with that, so.
I think the NHL's gotten like that too, because there's like a clause now where you can take mental health days and nobody can question you about it, and media can't even talk to you. So that's what led to Carey Price like retiring. He just went off and went on mental health, was off for 6 months for a season, and then just never came back. But yeah, that's just see that. I think football would be hard to do that because there's so little games.
Right.
And does he still get paid? Do they still get paid in the NBA if they go off?
They guaranteed contracts, of course.
Jesus, that's just friggin' ridiculous. I'd put a stipulation in there if you don't play because of mental health or whatever. Like, I'm only paying you this much percentage of that game check.
Yeah, you got to get the players to agree to that too, though. And if you're the player, why are you giving up your leverage?
Yeah, well, see, go to another club then. That's how I'd look at it.
Well, the only thing about the NFL, it's hard to get the players to stand together. Yes. It ain't like the NBA. The NBA players, they stand together. NFL is a big, it's a the haves and the have-nots, and it's easy to manipulate the have-nots.
Yep, they're just
Yeah,
trying to make
well,
the roster.
Yeah.
the roster's a lot bigger in the NFL than it is in the NBA too.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
think
a
that's
lot,
probably part
lot
of it.
easier to keep communication going, right? And everybody kind of knows everyone personally. And there's only like 5 starters on each team, so I bet they
Yep.
all know each other pretty intimately. But anyways, you want to get on with the show, talk about a vet that you might have and compare them with some other guys going around that for fantasy, and if you would take them the vet or the younger player over them.
Yeah, you wanna kick it off?
Well, sure, okay. I'll kick it off. The one that I like here is Josh Jacobs.
All
He's
right.
he's going as like RB8 as an ADP. He's ranked as the RB12 in Dynasty startups. But like guys going around him, like I'd take him over Deshaun A Chance myself personally, who's going ahead of him.
A-Chain?
Yeah,
I could see that. I mean, with the injury risk of A-Chain, I get that. Do you have concerns though about Green Bay and how run heavy they got to the end of the season? Do you think that was because of the Jordan Love injuries, or that was the identity that they want? That's one
that's
of
the
my
identity
hangups.
they want, man. Like Green Bay is cold. You got to run that ball in cold weather football. Like that's what he's always wanted to do, but he's had Rodgers, right? So he's now implementing the system he's always had planned for Green Bay, which is a more run heavy scheme with play action off of that and using the tight end as well. Like he's a coach also that knows how to use a tight end.
Yeah, that's just I found that interesting because the first year and a half of Jordan Love starting, it was pass heavy. And then last year, halfway through with all the injuries, seemed to be, to me anyway, when it shifted and went run heavy. So I'm just
Yeah, but
curious.
they had a lot of running back injuries too with Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon,
Mm,
where they're down to like their third or fourth running back. So it was kind of forced to go pass heavy.
yeah, I could see it.
So
What do you think, Terrence?
He mentioned Devin A. Chain. I mean, like you said, the only thing you can go against Devin A. Chain is you afraid that he's going to get injured,
Yep.
or you afraid that Tua is going to get injured. But Tua was out for a while, and Devin A. Chain still finished above Jacobs.
yeah, but
So
he only had how many so good games? Like he doesn't do it consistently. He's boom or bust.
well,
And I
and
think once you get to those cold weather games, that speed's gone, and he's not as good. So that's playoff fantasy football time. So I'm not gonna want to ever own a chance.
He
well,
almost
that's
had 80
you. You got
catches
a
last
bias.
year, though.
You got that bias,
Mm,
because that's the only thing you ever mention when we get to A Chain. But A Chain, when it came to the last weeks, he had one bad game. The man put up week 11, 20, week 12, 20, week 13, 21, week 14, 18.9, week 15, 14.6, week 16, 31, week 17. That's when he had the bad game, 5.8. If you did play a week 18, he scored 18 points. But I mean, the man was rolling. I'm looking for Jock Jacob. I'm looking for Green Bay not to run the ball as much. But if you're looking for consistency, sure, either way to go. If you're looking for someone that's more than likely not get injured, he's definitely the way to go. Now, if you're looking for what you call it,
I think he's the better running back in the better situation with the better line with the better coach. I would take him over every
he's not
single
more
week.
exclusive though. So, I mean, and that's why he didn't finish above A-Chain. So, and that's with Tua being out some games. Imagine if Tua would have played the whole season, man probably would have finished top 3. Period.
No.
The man just finished. What are we talking about? You just said no. It's down games
No.
when Tua was out.
Who
Like,
were the top 3?
he finished 5th. He finished
Okay,
5th.
but who were
The
the top
games that
3?
Tua was out was like week
Barkley.
3, 4, 5. All his bad games. That's when Tua. That's the games Tua was out. Other than that, the man was having boom games.
Okay, but who were the top 3?
The top
wasn't
3
beating
was
Barkley.
Gibbs, Barkley, and Bijan.
Yeah, you think he's passing any of those with Tua in those games?
I said he could have. He could have. The man was getting 30 point. He was getting 30-point games. Hold up. Oh, how many 30-point games, man? He had a 29.5, a 26, and a 31.
So 130 game.
How many 30-point games you think Bijan had? Since you saying that,
I have no clue, but I'm not a Bijan fan like you.
Zero. So how many 30-point games you think Gibbs had?
2.
Gibbs? Probably 2, yeah.
1. So I'm
How
just,
many-
what I'm saying. So
How
I
many
mean,
did Barkley have? 5?
no, it was different. Barkley was
Yeah. The
going
man had
crazy.
almost 500 touches. That's a little different.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
Man
to
had
me,
a
though, with the
46
age,
point
Dynasty
game.
startup,
We ain't
though.
talking about Barkley. Man had a 46
Nope.
point game.
No, I'm
He
just
went
curious who the top was and what we're comparing everybody else
Nah,
to.
Barkley had 33. Oh, he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 30-point games. Barkley
All right,
was
I got it right.
yeah. Barkley was going crazy. We don't talk about Barkley. Like,
no.
So if Barkley got 5, getting 2 is pretty good.
No.
That's how I'd look at it. And 1's decent.
yeah, but I think he could have. I think he could have jumped Bijan. I mean, he was only 30 points off.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
off of
So we
Bijan.
could have.
Yeah.
All right. That's what I wanted to know. Just like
Mhm.
what we got there. But like if you're on the clock in a dynasty startup, are you taking Josh Jacobs or Omar Hampton or Trayvon Henderson?
I'm probably taking Hampton if on a
Yeah.
dynasty startup.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm going Hampton or Henderson in that case.
Yeah, I'd go Hampton myself too. And then another name around there that I thought was fun was Brees Hall, because I'm taking Brees Hall over Josh Jacobs, and he's going after him.
Yep. I would also take Brees Hall over Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, I don't think Josh Jacobs, even though he's been fine, he don't hold that much value in dynasty. Like people,
I agree.
yeah.
I think last year I had quite a few people trying to offer him to me, and they were all late first round picks in like one league that I had Josh Jacobs. And in that situation, I think Jacobs is probably more valuable than a late round first. It's just one of those situations where like it's team context all the way. Jake, he's what, 26, 27 now, I think. About to be 27 this season. So he's coming up on that age, and he's one of those backs that has always been high volume. And to me, he
But
feels like one of those guys that, say again?
He's in his prime though right now.
See, I think running back prime is like 24, 25.
No,
Personally.
that's just getting into it. That's just getting warmed up. 25, 26, 27's prime. 28, 29, the friggin' greats can stand it, but 30's the decline. But normal backs, they start going down at 27, 28.
I'm with Alex. 25, pretty much their prime. After that, they have to have pass catching chops to kind of make it go
valuable.
longer. If they're a pass catching running back, they can push it. They prime to about 27, 28. After that, I get scared to draft you. Like it'd be hard for me to pull the trigger on Derrick Henry. It's just
Not where he's going. I couldn't do it. Not at this age. I got rid of him for
chance.
AJ Brown when AJ Brown was 25 and Henry was 29. I was just like, I gotta get rid of Henry now while he's worth a lot.
Yep.
Get what I can. But what do you guys got? Anyone you got up there? Think about?
Yeah, so I actually am going to pivot on the spot because the one that I was thinking of was Aaron Jones, but that's really close to your Josh Jacobs there, and I don't like him enough to start knocking off some of those bigger names. So let's see here. I will go Chuba Hubbard in Carolina, actually, and I like him over Josh Jacobs for that matter. I think he's one. It would be really hard if it came down to it, and I'm on the clock between Chuba Hubbard and Devon Achane. I'm flipping a coin, actually. You don't have to make that decision because of where the two get drafted. It's separate. Achane, I think, is a second round, and Chuba's more like a late third, early fourth.
I've seen Hubbard go in the first.
No,
Really?
I've never seen that.
Yeah, I haven't seen that either. That's crazy to me. I'm not doing that. But I do like him
to me,
over Josh
that
Jacobs.
is a bad fantasy player right there. If
Hubbard goes top 5 running back consistently, though.
No, I'm just saying, if you drafting a player that ADP is in the 3rd or 4th round and you drafting him in the 1st, I don't give a damn how much you love him. you don't draft them in the first. You draft them like a round earlier, and you can still guarantee you get the player. This is not rocket science.
No, maximize your assets.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to challenge yourself, Terrence.
Well, I mean, hey, well, they got plenty of free leagues. You can go out there and challenge yourself. I remember I used to jump in the ESPN league and challenge myself all the time. I draft a kicker and a defense the first 2 rounds and be like, now let's play the game. Now let's get it popping. You know, like I'd be playing all kind of games. I'll draft just one team. You know what? I'm gonna draft the Dallas Cowboy team this time and draft all the Dallas Cowboys. You know, so.
Yep.
I don't even see Hubbard on this list.
But I mean, for you, he probably wouldn't even be considered a veteran. You said got to be in the league 5 years. I don't even think he would have made it. Running backs don't even be lasting 5 years. Can't believe you said 5 years.
Well, who you got, Terrence?
I mean, I had picked the guy that I didn't want. Now I was searching for a better one. I actually do want, because I mean, when it reached a certain age, I really be out on them. So I haven't found a veteran that, well, I guess Kamara burned me last year. Like I love me some Kamara, but he burned me last year, and like now I'll be looking at him like, yeah.
Not just that with Kamara, because I almost went that route. The more I look at that offense, the more I'm worried about them even putting up points. Like it was bad last year, and I don't think it's going to be any better. I mean,
right?
I like the coaching staff better. I think the scheme will be better, but they still don't have a whole lot of talent.
And he's still going pretty high.
Yeah.
You know, so I haven't in underdog draft. I haven't been taking them. I usually don't. I'm telling you, with running backs, 5 years, you got to be pretty damn good for me to still be drafting you. Wide receivers, all the good veteran wide receivers are going up high.
Well, I got a good one for you while Terrence is looking.
You know who I've been taking, and he's not even on the team. I've been taking him at the end of the drafts, and that's been Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen. He's not even on the freaking team. So, you know, and there's a number, and maybe he might come out and say I retired. I'm kind of be hurt for all my best ball share, but there's a lot of players I'll take over him, and they're not even, like I said, they on the roster, and he's not even on the team. You know, I'll take him over the Mario Douglas. I'll take him over I'll take him over Joshua Palmer. I'll take him over. I don't know why people love Joshua Palmer. He haven't.
Thank you.
He haven't done nothing. He haven't done nothing.
He's a perfect YR2 for that team.
Oh, he hasn't done nothing. And I don't know what you think the wide receiver 2 going to do on that team, because they haven't been doing nothing. They haven't gave you production. You can't start the wide receiver 2 on the Bills
because they've never had one. Turns out Gabe Davis was nothing. He just could only show up for the playoffs. He did nothing for the Jaguars. They dropped him before his contract was up. Who's another wire?
They spread the ball too much. They spread the ball too much.
Yeah.
They really don't, you know, like, so, I mean, unless you can really only get the running back. I mean, he's the only one that be doing enough for me. Anybody else I really don't want. I really don't want anybody but Josh Allen and the running back. And
I don't even want Josh Allen anymore.
What?
Ruined my playoff dreams. He's got to go on my team. I've had him on the trade block for a year. I can't get rid of him.
Because you probably want everything for him. What you know why you can't get rid of him. You probably want a lot for him.
No, I've offered a lot of reasonable deals.
Go ahead. Let's see what's reasonable. Go ahead. Let me know.
I'd have to look them up, man. But
you go ahead and do that. I know people think it's reasonable, you know, until they have an elite asset and they don't want to let him go. They don't really want to let him go.
Well, I traded him last year for 2 firsts and a second, but there was also other pieces in that deal.
I'm about to say that's very reasonable if it was just 2.
I wasn't even asking that much, Terrence.
No, yeah.
And like people were upset when Alex traded him for that much, and I'm like,
yeah. So
Have you
Might as
tried
well.
trading Josh Allen? Because I've tried trading him for a year and I can't. So, and I've asked for less than that and can't even get it.
So Terrence, let me tell you this trade because I think it's fair to bring up in this context. So I was trying to move Josh Allen. I had too many injuries mid-season, so I'm near the deadline, and I'm looking at my team going, okay, this team next year is going to be trash, so I need to blow it up. I need to get what I can for Josh Allen. The most I could get is 106, 110, and it ended up being 210. I didn't know at the time that the 10s would be that. I figured it would be middle of the first. So mid first, late first.
It's the super flex though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Late second, and I traded Josh Allen, Alvin Kamara, Christian McCaffrey. McCaffrey had not played a single game for me at this point.
And it was a season McCaffrey only played one game.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
It was last year with Kamara. Also.
one, I mean, I got two things to say. For one, I don't understand Dynasty players in the first place. Like, I get thrown, people come at me and try to offer me quarterbacks in only the leagues that I have a quarterbacks already. Like in the league I'm desperate for a quarterback, people don't come offer me a quarterback. But I'll have 3 decent quarterbacks. And you're like, let me throw this quarterback in trade. Why are you trying to give me a quarterback? I don't need one. So in the second thing, in this other league, I had Josh Allen, one of my league. I think I had Josh Allen, Lamar, someone else. You know, I'm decent at quarterback.
Yeah.
You know, somebody, I think I had the 1-on-1. Because I traded against this guy. This guy come like he want the 1-on-1 and offered me Jaden Daniels. Now I'm like, I love me some Jaden Daniels.
Yep.
I would have done it.
I'm mad. I'm mad because you didn't offer me Jaden Daniels. You see my quarterback room. I don't need Jaden Daniels, But now I'm looking, and guess who? Somebody offered me Chase, Jamar Chase for Josh Allen. I was like, bye-bye, Josh Allen. we got my favorite player.
See, there you go.
So now I got Lamar and Jaden Daniels. That's my favorite 2 quarterbacks. So yeah.
See,
Yeah,
and I think
that
can't go wrong with that at all. So I think Josh Allen was a hard person to trade for a lot of reasons, especially last year too, with nobody really seeing the receiver room, how it was going to be. And even now, I think there's still questions about that. So he's an interesting player. Still one of my favorites to watch, though. When he's in his zone.
I'm to try to give me some Josh Allen. Y'all saying all that because I just feel like it's going to be hard for me to get him.
Well, maybe you should, and then we'll bring that back next week and see how it went. Because I'm curious about that myself.
I think one of the offers I offered was to Goode for the 1.4 and Trevor Lawrence.
If you tried to trade with Goode, good luck. I don't. It's not a fun experience trading with Mr. TD. It's not.
I've never had a problem.
Stubborn. When I say stubborn, good God,
Yeah, I've
So
never had a problem.
Would you take that? Because I think I could see both sides of that. Trevor Lawrence and 104 for Josh Allen.
I wouldn't take that. Trevor Lawrence is more of name than production, and always have been.
If you had Trevor Lawrence and the 1.4, and I'm offering you Josh Allen, you wouldn't take it?
In this year draft?
Yeah.
I could see both ways. I can see both ways because you have in your mind, I'm not gonna give me a juicy running back. But yeah, I could some trades I just be like, it don't move me either way. It's like I don't feel like I'm winning or losing, so I just sit.
I think those are the best trades though, when it's uncomfortable for both sides. Because that's how you know it's a good value.
The trades don't happen. I'd be like, well, what is this really doing for me?
Because you're getting what you need. That's the way I look at it.
He took Travis Hunter with that 1.4.
So Hunter and Lawrence for Josh Allen.
Well, that's who he took. That's not who I would have took. Judkins. Or Judkins. What's his name?
Yeah, I think he feels better. And like I said,
people love them some Trevor Lawrence, and it's more so name. Because when you look at what he's done so far, you haven't done much.
Yeah, I don't know if I would take him in the 1.4 though in a non-IDP league.
No. I don't know about that one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, like in an IDP league, I'm taking him 1.1. I'm throwing him in my defensive back position, and I'm just leaving him there, taking him out his bye week, using somebody, putting him right back in because the points you're going to get there is just going to smash everybody else's defensive back position. It's just going to be crazy. But shall we get on to our second-year players that we're expecting leaps from?
Well, that's a good idea. We're like halfway through the show now, right?
Oh yeah. Who wants to go first?
Well, if you want, I can lead it off.
All right.
There you go.
I'll pull your thing up here. Got your picks up here, Alex. You got so you
Roma
go.
Dunze is my first one. And one of the things I love about this is the obvious. He's getting in a coaching upgrade for sure with Ben Johnson coming over, bringing his offensive scheme. That being said, I think that Roma Dunze could step right into that Amon-Ra St. Brown role. Similar size, good power, good speed. He can get off the line. He could play outside. One of the things that was interesting, though, for me looking into this was Odunze was actually 1.55 yards per route run, which is near elite compared to his 0.97 that he had running from the outside. So he was much better in the slot, and I think that chemistry is just going to get better with Caleb Williams. And unfortunately for our bet, Terrence, Colston Loveland has not been practicing in minicamp, and neither had Luther Burton, which are both things that help out the chemistry even more with Roma Dunze. So he's one I think could make a big step. And last year only had 734 yards, 3 touchdowns. So it's not going to take a whole lot. I think he's going to be much closer to 1,100. And let's not forget, you mentioned Keenan Allen, Terrence. That's 121 targets that are wide open in Chicago.
What you guys think? Loveland. He reminds me of Dalton Kincaid. Like, I remember people were so hyped about Dalton Kincaid, and Dalton Kincaid didn't do any testing, and he was dealing with an injury coming in, and I was just like, ugh.
Yeah, I see him more as like a Sam Laporta for that offense that Ben Johnson is going to run, and that's the other thing I like about Loveland is Ben Johnson knows how to use a tight end. So I appreciate that part.
Yeah, I think Roman Dunze here too. I always expected Dunze to be a second-year guy with Keenan Allen there, right? Like, come in, learn behind these two great vets. You got DJ Moore, suck up what you can from Keenan Allen. We're going to have you as the third guy, but next year you're going to be the guy that you're going to eventually. I bet by week 6 he's the wire one there.
I think it's entirely possible. I really like his skill set, and Sean, you know, he was one of the ones I really like coming out. And one of the things that he is elite at is his separation at the line. You can't get hands on him. So that's one of the things that I really appreciate about his game is he can get a good release. And with Caleb, that's the biggest hesitation for me is Caleb. I don't trust him as a quarterback. And one of the things that does scare me about Odunze is he had one of the highest rates of uncatchable balls last year. So I use that as a positive in that can't continue, right? It's got to get better. It has to. Yes, it has to. It has to get better, right? Just tell me it has to get better, guys.
Sure. But he's going to be playing more, so he should get more consistent. And he's
exactly. Well, and that's
it
just
depends how much Ben Johnson trusts Caleb Williams, right? Because, like, don't forget what he did with Jared Goff. The first year, he had to fix all those mistakes and reprogram his mind as a quarterback to get him thinking properly and how he wanted him. And that year, Goff really didn't throw much. And that second year, he started throwing more. By year 3, it was like the air raid that we knew.
Right.
So is he going to do that with Caleb to be like, look, you don't have to do anything until we need you to do something? Mahomes doesn't do it every play. He does it when the team needs him to do it.
Exactly. And that's the other thing, too, is if you look at that running back room, it is not the same running back room he had in Detroit. It's not even close. So are they going to be able to run the ball like they want to also?
Yeah, we'll see.
Yep. Going to be interesting.
You want to go on?
Yeah, so for my second one, I'm going out to your team there, Sean, San Francisco, and I'm going with Ricky Pearsall. one of the things here is the obvious vacuum that Deebo Samuel left. Brandon Ayuk still recovering from the ACL, MCL injury. So I don't think he's going to be ready right away. I think San Francisco's primary receivers are going to be Jawan Jennings and this guy, Ricky Pearsall. He was recovering from a gunshot wound last season, missed the first 6 games, still came out, put up 400 yards in 11 games. However, the important part is the last 2 games of the season, 210 yards, 2 touchdowns over those final 2 weeks. Really got some run there with Purdy. And I think that they're going to be able to carry that momentum into this season coming in. So big opportunity. I think he's got the skill set and the fit with Purdy that we saw the last 2 games. So I think that can continue and grow. And it's not going to be hard to beat that 400 yards he had last year. What you guys think about Pearsall?
I agree. I wasn't that high on him as a prospect coming out, but he had some games and that got me excited, and him landing on 49ers. I'm always willing to bet on that. Any offensive weapons there.
Yep. And I agree with you. That's where I was too. Coming out, I was not high on Pearsall. But then after San Francisco essentially decimated their receiver room, whether it be injuries and players leaving, and then to see what he did the last few games and actually see it on the field in an NFL offense, and we know I really like Purdy, I think it could work out nicely. So he is my second one that I really like there. For my quarterback here, I am going to New England with Drake May. And this one seems obvious, at least to me anyway. If you watched any of him play at the end of last season, he was top 10 in yards per attempt, which at 6.8 is just unbelievable, especially as a rookie. He also had 71% efficiency rating as a passer under pressure, which, as we saw from that offensive line, was every drop back. They added Will Campbell to that offensive line, and that, to me, is an automatic upgrade that is going to get him more time to throw. So you get Drake May more time to throw. I think his footwork is going to start improving as well, which is something that Sean and I talked about him having to do to start. Plus, you get the rushing upside. They added Kyle Williams as a rookie coming in. I think some of the other guys, Demario Douglas, they added Stephon Diggs as a veteran to step in and help that receiver room. I think there's good things coming for Drake May. You guys have any thoughts on Drake May?
Oh, I like Drake May. He was my QB1 last year, if you remember.
I do.
So I think he's going to turn that team right around. It'll be Vrabel that holds him back, but we'll see. See how that matches.
He's actually got an offensive coordinator this year too, and now you've got Travion Henderson in the backfield who can also provide something if he needs an outlet.
QB1 last year, spicy. That's spicy.
What's that?
What's spicy? Said QB1 last year.
Oh, yes.
Spicy. Got that.
That's my guy. That's my guy, man.
Sure is. So at 4, I'm headed down to Miami and going to Jalen Wright. And I'm kind of talking out both sides of my mouth here because I have said that I think that Miami is going to shift their offensive scheme. I still think Jalen Wright can fit that scheme. He is a burst speed guy, but he can also run between the tackles. And I think he would be a nice complement to Ollie Gordon. But that also leaves Devon Achane, like we talked about. So he's not going anywhere. But Raheem Mostert is out the door, and he had quite a few carries last year. And so that leaves room for Jalen Wright to step into the RB2 role. And so, again, he's somebody that when he did get touches, it worked out. He had one game where he had more than 10 carries and did not put up double-digit fantasy points. But with more opportunity, that's what I'm looking for at the running back position. Not just talent, but I want the opportunity. So Jalen Wright is who I'm looking for as my running back from a second-year player looking to make an improvement.
Yeah, how much are you?
Go ahead. I was just saying, I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be fine. I was high on him as a prospect, and I think he'll make the leap with more opportunity for his Sean.
Yeah, I think he'll freaking eventually take over that lead role there. That's why I'm not big on Deshaun Achane, because I think he's the better running back, and Achane is more of a good change of pace guy to come in to be the lightning to the thunder, and Like, that's the thing they need to learn how to do in Miami. You can't be speed all the time. Those cold weather games come, you got to pound that rock and then pull out your speed guy when it's needed and let him go, and then keep him warm on the sidelines with those heaters and throw him in while he's like kind of warmed up. So they need Jalen Wright if they're going to win games in the playoffs.
Yeah, that, and they're going to need Tua healthy above all.
There you go.
So, sorry about that. Yeah, so Jalen Wright is the one that I really like there. And then for my last spot, I went Adonai Mitchell in Indianapolis, and I will admit this one scares the shit out of me more than any of the other ones.
Me too.
So the reason for that is I like AD Mitchell, the player. I like his profile. I like his size. His speed is unreal. Part of my issue is the quarterback. Who is it going to be? Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones? Personally, I think it's going to end up being Daniel Jones. Let Richardson actually develop, because I think Steichen might be on the hot seat the way the last few seasons have ended. So there's quarterback concerns. There's also the fact he didn't really get on the field a whole lot last year. Alec Pierce is still there. Michael Pittman's still there. Josh Downs is still there. They just added Tyler Warren as a receiver. So there is, that saying that too many mouths to feed.
And they don't have enough food to go around with Richardson at quarterback.
Exactly. So that's one of the things that scares me. However, he didn't do a whole lot last year, and I think that he could be a better version of Alec Pierce the longer he plays in this league. So I think he could take over that role and be that outside guy, give you a few games, but he's not somebody that I think will ever necessarily be a consistent fantasy starter. You guys think? What you think?
You said it at the end for me. I don't think he'll ever be a consistent fantasy starter. What is there else to say? I can't even, I can't endorse anything him doing well going forward. I wasn't high on him as a prospect, and I was just kind of researching some things. It's like every wide receiver that had a below 60 PFF grade their first season really haven't done shit in the league, and he had a 57.9. So didn't like him as a prospect, didn't do much his first season. He's not going to go in there and get a bunch of targets. I'm good. If I got him somewhere, I'm selling them, and I'm not putting them on any of my teams.
So would you, the first thing that came to mind when you said that is a third round pick. You think that's reasonable? Would you take a third?
Would I take a third if I'm selling them?
Yes.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Give me the third.
See, and I also think if I have the third, I think that's a reasonable risk to take, because third round picks, more often than not,
especially the past season, I would have took that third in a heartbeat. Give me that damn third.
That's what I did in one league. I ended up with like 18 picks, and then I just used them and dwindled it down to 10, just moving up the draft board.
Yeah, there you go.
But if I own them, I probably got them maybe late second, early third. If I got them on my team, it's like, so I'm not losing much.
Right. That's why I think as a third, I think that's almost worth the risk. So I think I'm realizing I think I would take that risk, because third round picks are one that most drafts you're going to end up cutting that guy the next year or the year after. So you're really just taking draft shots, and if Mitchell gives you anything, maybe you could flip him for a second. Or what he does for you on your team, say he starts 4 games for you, that's worth a third round pick, right?
Get rid of that man. If you have him, get rid of him and re-roll the dice.
Fair enough. All right, who's next?
Can you honestly think he can produce? Do you honestly think this season coming up, he would give you the same production Alex Pierce just gave last season? I don't know if you noticed, Alex Pierce put up some games.
I think they'd do the same.
Yeah, I think they could do the same.
If you believe he can do that, then he definitely work. You go and get. If you believe he could do that, because I remember Alex Pierce put up like a number of, if I'm not mistaken, maybe I'm tripping.
And before Alex Pierce went
Yeah.
off, I sold him to Alex for a
Yeah.
third.
That's exactly what I'm saying. That's where that gamble paid off for me last year. I think you can make that same gamble again.
Hey, you want to know who else I sold for a third, Terrence, before they went off? Nico fucking Collins.
Oh well, that was a bad move for you.
Yep. And at the time, that probably looked like a reasonable deal because Nico Collins hadn't done shit his first few years in the league.
Well,
He's one that probably breaks that model. Terrence didn't do shit as a rookie.
Well, he guess what? He didn't have a 50-something PFF grade, so no, you know, he wasn't a part of that.
Okay. I thought it was that bad because I don't remember shit about his rookie season.
Well, he was bad, but what Terrence is saying, he did what he did well in his opportunities.
So you're saying he's higher than that 50? Okay.
Yeah. So
So
Terrence is not only saying
I
the
gotcha.
opportunities; it's what they do with those opportunities.
That's fair.
So PFF grades on only their shots that they had.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
those shots, he had a bad grade because he only made 52% of the catches.
And this was something I was just looking at, like probably within an hour before we got on, and because I was trying to debate, because I want to get to the point, I'd be like, I want to be able to cut ties with a player. Oh no,
Yep.
he looked like he ain't gonna be shit. Cut him, and that's what I want to get to the point. And so I was just looking at players. I'm like, okay, I got to stop making stop drafting this guy. Period. Got to cut this guy off my roster. And I got some red dots on some players. You want to hear the red dots?
Yes. Let's hear those.
We probably
Let's hear those red dots.
Red dot. Rattler. Marshawn Lloyd. This might be a controversy one. This is the one I got to see this season. Tyrone Tracy. That's the controversy one.
That's spicy.
Vidal, Lobby, Leggett, Polk.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Adon Mitchell, of course. Corley, and I like me some Corley.
Why do you
Jermaine
got Polk
Burton.
on that list?
Huh?
Why do you got Polk on that list? He hasn't even had a shot yet.
He played. What you told me? That man played a lot. He was shit.
He played a lot with not a great QB, and then wasn't he hurt by the time May got out there?
Yep. I think he played 1 or 2 games with May. There was a lot of injuries.
That's what I'm saying. He hasn't really had a shot with out there with May.
What you just said, his opportunities was shit. When he got out there,
hold on,
he
no.
did shit with the opportunity.
Hold on, no. I got to push back on that one because that was the worst offensive line in the league. How much opportunity do you really have if your quarterback is on his back when you take your third step in your route?
So why he ain't on one of y'all lists as a bounce back player?
Because they added Stephon Diggs and Kyle Williams.
Okay, that shows you how much they think of him. Moving on. So Luke McCaffrey, and I love me some Luke McCaffrey. I thought he would do. I saw him on his list. I said I got to give him a red dot.
Yeah, but
Torrey Franklin.
McCaffrey, you got to give 2-3 years because he just started. He only did 1 year of wide receiver in college, so he was a full project. Like if you drafted him, you knew that was a 3 or 4 year wait before you even saw any type of return.
Javon Baker.
He's one I'm cutting.
That's who you should be making a case for with Polk because he wasn't getting on the field.
Yeah, no, I like Polk better than Baker.
Continue not getting on the field with them signing both of them to huge contracts.
Yes.
Malik Washington, Jamari Thrash. I call him Jamari Trash. And Inez Smith. Only thing I didn't see, I don't feel like it worked when it comes to the tight ends. So, that felt kind of wishy-washy, but with the other positions, it felt right. But,
so how long do you normally give players then? A year, 2?
It depends on the position. I would probably give, and you know what? Even though I might wait on a tight end, I'll wait on him while he's on the waiver wire. Go ahead, you cook up on the waiver wire. You ain't gonna cook up on my team. You ain't gonna be baking up on my team. But that's why I like wide receivers with draft capital. So if I'm waiting, I'll be like, okay, I know the team gonna feel obliged to give them opportunity. But if they don't got no draft capital, I can drop them after a year and I'll feel fine.
Yeah.
And when I say draft capital, I'm talking about first, second round draft capital.
I can
Yeah, you don't care about the
I
third.
can drop a third round to 7th round player and feel fine. Sleep just fine at night.
Mhm.
You know. Now,
Yep.
you know who will be my roster cloud? Them damn wide running backs. Because I'll love a running back and I'll keep him on my bench until he get too far on that depth chart. When you start getting fourth on the depth chart, you gotta go.
Yep.
You got
One of
to
those
go.
All right. Well, you want to get to your list, Terrence?
Oh yeah, let's go. All right, so my list is Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm expecting this man to show who he truly is this year. You know, yeah, I know you shouldn't feel that comfortable with his quarterback because his quarterback need to get his shit together. But he has to notice the talent on the field. Yeah, I know it's easy to throw the dump off to McBride. It's easy. He's good too. But you gotta realize Morrison Harrison Jr. is him, and you need to pass the ball to Himothy. And I think this could be the year he showed you why the man was, because he was getting. If I wasn't
101.
mistaken, he was being drafted at the turn, like the beginning of the 2nd round last year. Like people had high expectations, and he's still not going that far off. I think he's going in the 3rd this year in underdog. So.
But the thing with him, you got to get the coach to like expand his route tree because he didn't run not a single pass under
Shorter.
12 yards by
Yeah.
like week 12.
That's what I'm
or
about to say. They need to give him layup. You need to give him some layup. That's what you need.
Yeah, that's
give
what we're
him
saying.
a feel for the ball. You know,
Yeah.
get him plays that could easily get him yak. That's what he need. I mean, you can't give him all to McBride. You can't give him all to him.
Nope.
Yep. Completely
my
agree
next-
on that one.
Oh, you guys got something to say about him?
Oh, I totally agree with everything you just said. And I think that Sean's right in that the coach needs to give him some easier routes. You're right in that he needs to get a feel for the ball. He gets a feel for the ball with those easier routes. Like last year, like you were saying, Sean, he didn't have a single route less than 12 yards, like 14 weeks into the season. That's insane. Let that man do what he does.
Yeah.
Now,
And you got a lot of those games, they didn't even throw him a pass until like the second half. Like,
Mhm.
you got to keep that young player involved in the game as a coaching staff. Like, I don't think this is all on Kyler Murray. I don't know what the plays were. Maybe it is. But if his route is like 12 yards down the field and Kyler Murray's like, what, 5'9", and his linemen are 6'5", I don't think he can see Marvin Harrison down the field that far.
Terrence, I'm gonna need you to do me a favor though. That's the nicest thing that Sean has ever said about Kyler Murray. He said that he doesn't put it all on Kyler Murray.
Dang.
I fucking hate him. He's a fantasy ruin man. God, I don't see it. I don't see it with him.
I can't stop drafting him.
So who else you got there, Terrence?
So with this guy, it's kind of like the Marvel's timeline. Like, you know, Xavier Worthy, we know is talented, but you know, and what's more likely to happen, let's be honest, what's more likely to happen, Rice come back and ball out again. But there is a universe where Worthy, where Rice start off slow and Worthy say, "Hold my beer," and he go crazy. There is a universe this could happen where Worthy can take another step up from what he did. I mean, you know, I know he had some games where he balled out in the playoffs, but that was more so in garbage time, you know. But in the season, he was kind of spotty. So he have a chance to get better this year and be more of a show consistency as a wide receiver. What you guys think?
So I'm very tempted here to actually make you bet on this player because I think I like him more than you do. If you're saying that you think Rice is going to come in and just take back over as the one.
Well, what bet you want to make it? Is Rice starting game one? That's the question.
No, I don't think he is. I still think he faces a suspension.
All right.
That being said, I think that Worthy is what they've been looking for at the receiver position. I think what they saw from early on that everybody's saying that Rashee Rice is the man is what they saw when Worthy didn't know the offense yet. They didn't have Hollywood Brown healthy. Travis Kelce was doing whatever Travis Kelce was doing all offseason, so his head wasn't in the game yet. I think there was a lot of factors that contributed to Rice being the target dominant player that he was early in the season. I may eat my words, but I think Worthy is the one that you want to own in Kansas City. So
and I can't argue with it because the whole thing is are they going to scheme up plays again like they did for Rice? Because they made sure I didn't look at Rice as a good prospect, but
I
they
didn't
made
either.
it work. They made it work for him, so it could totally
Well, I
happen.
think he made it work for him because he followed Travis Kelce and Mahomes around like a puppy dog, just soaking up all that information that them talking to each other. So he started running routes like Kelce, which Mahomes obviously felt comfortable with and was throwing him the ball. Like Alex said, it was just perfect storm of opportunity for him to get those targets too. With Kelsey's age and decline and nobody really on the other side, like there's really not much choice to throw to.
So what you think, Terrence? You want to do a beer bet? That's one that we like to do around here.
I don't drink beer though.
Oh, yeah, okay. How about a T-shirt? You want to do a shirt bet? I buy
Sure.
you.
What's the bet though?
So I think that see, we'll have to work out the details. But I want to take the Worthy side. And are you good with taking the Rice side?
Yeah. We just got to figure
Okay.
out: is it the games they play together? Like when does
Yeah.
it start? Like that's all. Because if you
Yeah.
feel like he will get suspended, then you can't count the games he's not out there. That's
Oh no, I agree. It'd be something like a points per game, maybe, or something like that for games they played. Just off the top of my head, that's something I think that makes sense. I'm thinking maybe you want to do like a T-shirt bet. Like I'll buy you a shirt of whatever team you want, and you buy me a shirt for my team.
Yeah, that works.
Sweet. We'll work out the details. Come
All
back.
right. Let's get back to Terrence's list.
All right, and this one is the easy layup. I mean, you go from 0 to anything. It's a it's a W.
Yep.
David McCarthy, who didn't play a lick of football last year, and now he going into a great situation. Good offense, good offensive coordinator. You just it's there for you. You know, to easily look. Eric, really, I'm hearing all the talking heads on him as the finish as as a QB1. So I mean, it's laid out there for him. So easy.
Hey, last
I
year I
can't
would have
believe-
argued you, but after the Sam Darnold year, can't argue it anymore, right? You got Kevin
Well.
Stefanski there. He might be the new quarterback guru.
I wasn't high on him as a prospect either. I mean, you know, I let everyone else draft him. I don't own that many shares of him. Like only leagues I have him is the ones I really need a quarterback. You know, so
I got a big fat 0. I don't have him anywhere.
I've got one.
So I'm sure get them games going, and I'm gonna be able to go ahead and trade him, roll him, and probably tear up. That's gonna be my goal.
Absolutely. That's a good goal to have with players like that.
And then my next guy is, you know, I am shooting a little hopium up in this situation. I did like Trey Benson as a prospect, and it's probably each year I bet against James Conner, and he shoves it in my face each year. It's like I can't draft him. It's like he got to the age peak that I cannot draft him. You can't come on my team. And each year he's shoving it in my face, just like Derrick Henry does. And I'm just gonna bet against him every season. This is another bet against Connor. I'm going. One day you're going to get hurt. It's gonna happen. And this young buck will come in here and never give up the job. It's gonna happen. So I do hear the coach speak. Them talk nice about him, but I'm waiting for this man to get his opportunity and take over the reins. So this is what could happen. Of course, they're not just sharing the ball. This not a they seem like they believe in like a workhorse role.
Yes, they do.
They sure do.
What you guys got to say about it?
I like this pick. I agree with you. I am the same person that also keeps betting against James Conner, and he just keeps shoving it in my face. He did help me win a title, though, so that was when I moved on, was after that. That being said, I like this pick with Trey Benson because they also didn't add anyone in the backfield. And Connor is going to miss a couple games. So we shall see. What you think, Sean?
Yeah, I like the pick. It's just at some point they got to move on from Connor, right? Like just the age and getting up there. But as long as he keeps producing, they're going to keep him out there. So I don't know if Trey Benson gets a shot, but I'm hoping he does because I'd like to see what he can do. He's done well in the opportunities that he's had. He's looked pretty decent. So we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Take us to Philly, Terrence. That's your last one, right?
So with this pick right here, when you look at the depth chart, you don't even see Shipley as second on the depth chart. And you go look on the depth chart, they got AJ Dillon. I don't believe in AJ Dillon whatsoever. AJ Dillon has failed me for a number of years. So I act like he don't exist. And they'll figure out that he can't play football either soon enough. So if something does happen to Barkley, I'm looking for Will Shipley to come in and handle his business just like he did in the playoffs when he got his opportunity. And I know it is hard to imagine something happening to Barkley, but Barkley is going like 102, 103, and something can happen to Barkley, and you definitely want a piece of that backfield if it did happen. And I feel like Shipley can come in and go crazy because it ain't gonna be AJ Dillon. I can tell you that.
Man, it's not just that. Barkley had, I want to say it was 472 touches last season. Like that man gonna be tired. Not have to get hurt. Like
No.
that's a lot of work.
Barkley can handle it. We've got Miracle Ballers in the house saying, "What's up, guys? What's up, Ballers?"
What's going on?
All right. Well, I like Will Shipley as well. I'm like Terrence. I don't expect anything from AJ Dillon. They'll find out soon enough in Philadelphia. I expect him to be cut and Shipley to be the second guy. I do believe they'll try to get Barkley a little bit less work this year and save that load for the playoffs. But once he starts going for this record, I don't know if they're going to be able to keep him off the field because I think he'll want to go for it. So we'll see. But I think I like Will Shipley. They're going to have packages for him at the very minimum.
Yeah, especially with what he did at Clemson too. He's that do it all back. Pass catching, run between tackles, run outside. I like it. I like it.
All right. We'll get to my list. Start out here. I'm going Keon Coleman for the Bills. It's got to be better than that first season because that was a disappointment when he walked into as a YR1, and he really didn't do too much. So, but he's put on about 18 pounds of muscle, I think it was.
Yeah, I think they said about 20 is what they were saying.
Yeah, so hopefully he's bulked up, and with that size, he can use that frame because Josh Allen just throws it up to him. He can go up and get it because he's a big dude. You guys like Keon?
Well, he's not on my don't draft list. So he made that cut at least. But as a prospect, I mean I wasn't, he didn't woo me either way. But as a person, man, I love the kid. I mean, he's gonna win you over. Like if you hear him talk, even my girl can't tell you what team you play on, but heard one interview. Oh, I like that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just who he is. So I'm rooting for him.
Oh yeah, I think everybody is because of that interview. Like a lot of people fell in love with him.
And the Bills love him there too, and he is what the Bills need in that, not just a speed guy, contested catch.
He's also. They knew they were going to go wide receiver, getting rid of Diggs that year, so they told Allen at the beginning of the offseason, like, look at all these wide receivers, tell us which one you like, and we'll go out and get him. And this was the guy that Allen wanted to work with. So hopefully that connection starts picking up here in the second year.
Now, my problem with that, I will say that I didn't want him to play just the X. I don't think he'll thrive as that. He needs to play the power slot. And the problem is they got two fucking tight ends, taking up that, that lane. That's where he would thrive at. Just being his X, I don't think that's for him.
No, I'd agree. They got to move him around, kind of like they did with Diggs too.
Agreed.
All right, next guy on my list is Rome Wilson for the Steelers. Now, I don't think he's coming in being YR1 or YR2. I don't think that's his game. But they do like that short game in Pittsburgh that Juju used to run. And everyone, he never ran a route over 3 yards that 1 year. But I think it'll be a little bit more than that. But Rome will be the slot guy that comes in and does that dirty work in the middle. He's a tough guy. That's that type of plays he's going to make. It's just a matter of how
Staying
much
healthy.
are they going to pass in Pittsburgh with Aaron Rodgers' aging arm, right? Like, because basically, if we're going to put it in the Green Bay offense, Rome Wilson would be like Randall Cobb. And that's kind of what I'm expecting. What Randall Cobb did his like rookie year in his second season. I kind of expect that kind of jump for Wilson here in this offense because Rodgers loves that type of position.
Yeah, I mean,
What do
that's
you
going to
think,
be the
Alex,
big
as
thing,
a
right?
Steelers fan?
As a Steelers fan, I hope you're right. And I do have quite a few Roman Wilson, and I've held him and could not do anything with him last year. He did not leave the taxi squad. Couldn't get on the field. Lots of injuries. And now that receiver room is relatively open after DK Metcalf. I mean, he's competing with Robert Woods and some other guys that they've signed. Calvin Austin is one on that list. I think Roman Wilson fits much more of what the Steelers want to do, like you're talking about with that slot guy, get open quick, that Rodgers is looking for also. I think it could work, and I hope it does, because he was one. If you guys remember Nico Collins coming out, Sean, I'm not sure if we hadn't started the show yet, but my biggest thing with Nico Collins then was he's coming out of Michigan. That's why he has not done anything. And I don't know if he's talented or not. And that's why I missed a lot, because he didn't do anything noteworthy really in college. And Roman Wilson was one of those guys that I gave him that same benefit of the doubt that I didn't give Nico. So I hope he proves me right that he is worth it. So I hope you're right. Let's put it that way.
Any thoughts, Terrence?
No
He got a red
positive
dot for you,
one.
doesn't he?
No positive one. I was going to say he's a part of team no badges, but I see he did earn the Senior Bowl badge for being a Senior Bowl standout. But I don't like that his game is more so he's athleticism and he's coming off injuries when the man haven't played all season. So I don't know how long it's going to take him to, get with the program and get it together. But at the end of the day, I mean, the man didn't play a lick of football, and now he's going to play. So guaranteed improvement. So, and they need him because the wide receiver room looks horrible. They need him.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, my next guy is a tight end, Tavion Sanders for the Panthers. And this would be the only tight end I put my name on in last year's draft class that can have a jump. They've really got nobody good in that tight end room. I think he's the best one there. Obviously, he was a little bit injured in his rookie season, but a lot of guys get banged up because they can't handle the long season and the grind. He's, what's his name there? Young. It seemed to have taken that step last year near the end, so I'm expecting big leaps from him. And Davion's a big target. He's going to rely on him a lot, so I expect him to come in. It's not hard to get into that tight end one conversation, so he could easily enter that if he steals this Panthers starting job.
Good. I mean, touchdowns could do it, right? 6 touchdowns. That's probably tight end 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, probably. You don't need to do much.
So
Any red dots for you, Terrence?
He did have a below 60 PFF grade, but I told you when it comes to tight end, I don't totally trust it when it comes to tight end. Tight end takes longer to kind of get it together. So
Yeah.
I mean, he could take a jump. We would definitely see.
All right. So my next guy's a quarterback, Michael Penix Jr. for the Falcons. Came in. Obviously, they got Cousins still there backing up, but they decided to go with Penix last year. They got all the offensive weapons he could need there. They worked on their defensive line. Defense is going to be playing better, which means maybe the offense will get out there more, let the defense rest. They can actually get off the field, and the Falcons can come down, put some points up. They got London there. I'm not big on London, but I do like Pitts, and I like Mooney a lot there as well. And Bijan coming out of the backfield. I think Penix is going to he's a guy that spreads the ball around. So you're not going to be able to pin down what they're able to do. So as the quarterback, he's a guy that's just going to take a big leap here. I think top end QB2 maybe.
Yeah, I could see that, especially with some of those pieces they've got, especially Bijan. If that run game is efficient, Penix can beat him with his arm too. This offense kind of reminds me of what he had in Washington, with Rome Odunze and Jalen Pope dealing with Drake London, Darnell Mooney, more like a speed guy, but you got Pitts as a tight end, which he didn't have in Washington.
Well, they
Pretty
had that
interesting to
guy that
see.
got drafted by Tampa Bay. He was pretty quick.
Oh, the tight end.
No, it was wide receiver Williams or something.
Oh, yeah, Jalen McMillan.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So that could work. I think McMillan's taller than Mooney though. Mooney's a little small guy.
Yeah, but Mooney's faster.
True. True. But I do like that Penix call.
I was going to ask you how many points a game you think he would score.
In like a standard type of super flex league,
Yeah.
probably pretty consistently between 20 and 23.
Whoa. That don't
I was
sound
thinking-
standard.
Well,
What
that's
you
what
say, Alex?
I was gonna say. I was thinking the floor of like 18.
That's what I'm about to say. I was like that feels more standard. You start getting into 20s, that's QB1 territory right there.
Well, I said he'd be high end QB2. He's going to have QB1 weeks.
I don't dislike Penix. He's the type of quarterback that don't offer the rushing floor, but he's like that Burrow type. The more talent you put around him, the more he can score. So, and I did have in my prospect notes that he will be an ex-receiver's best friend. So I don't know why you don't like no Drake London. Drake London's about to go crazy.
Well, I'll say I think the reason he doesn't like Drake London is just based on the conversations we've had. Is the type of receiver Drake London is. That's not really what Sean likes.
Yeah.
That contested catch,
I don't
go up
like
and
his
get it.
game. Yeah. His game style is just not for me. And my last guy on my list before we end the show is Braylon Allen from the Jets. Now, I've said it before. I think he could sneak into that top 10 with this team, man. Like Justin Fields, I think they're going to have to reprogram him like they did Jared Goff for the Lions. You know, what's the coach there for the Jets?
Aaron Glenn.
Yeah, Glenn, just seeing how they had to rebuild the Lions from scratch from a franchise that's been pitiful for decades. That's basically what the Jets is. So he knows he's got to do everything from scratch. Let's reprogram Justin Fields, see if he's their guy. Let's smash this run game like crazy because we've got 4 great running backs on our team. But like Braylon Allen, I think, and Hall will be like a 60-40 split. And if Allen can take control of his opportunities with that 40% split, man, I think he can enter that RB1 conversation. And
You
Hall
were
too.
doing the calculations, Alex. What was your conclusion? Because you just put on some numbers, but you ain't never say what was your conclusion, Alex.
Yeah, so I was sitting there doing the math on it because I ended up getting busy. But my first thought with this was, how much do you think they're going to run the ball? So last year, the Jets ran 1,037 plays under Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is notoriously at the bottom of the league for being slow. That's that scan the defense, get in the right play, right? We saw it from Peyton too. So I think the Jets are going to run around 1,000 plays. If you figure a 55 to 60% run rate, which is what you're talking about, right, Sean? You think they're going to run that much?
Yeah, I think they're going to run a lot.
Yeah, so you're talking 600 carries. Divide that up among the 4 running backs, plus Justin Fields is going to take up, I would say, at least 180 of those. 150?
No, I don't think that much.
You don't think he gets 150?
No, I don't think there'll be that much design run plays.
And they don't have to be designed. You call a pass play, he drops back, and there's a lane open. He's running.
Yeah, I don't think he's doing that 150 times.
I think he easily hits 150 between.
You think he's running
Call
like
runs
that
him.
10 times a game?
Dude, that's what he was doing in Chicago. That's what he did for the Steelers
I
a
know,
few
and it
times.
hasn't worked out. I
Let's
don't
say
think it's
for
good.
the
I think they're going to
Steelers-
try to reprogram him with this run game. Do a one thing, check down to your running back, like one zone read, check down, kind of reprogram.
They can try that. They can try that. I don't know that that's going to work. That being said, to get back to your running back there, let's say that Brees Hall gets 250 of those. We'll ignore Justin Fields for now. Call it 100. 350. You're still talking another 150 carries between 3 other running backs: Braylon Allen, Isaiah Davis. I don't know how he gets to that workload.
I don't think the other two are getting that much unless Hall or Allen get hurt. I think it's Hall and Allen, and the other two are just going to sit by unless there's an injury.
That I don't know.
And who the hell are they going to pass to that he's dropping back that much? They get Garrett Wilson.
Yes,
and that's it.
That's all they need right now with the offense that they want to run.
That's all you need when you're going to go in with a run-heavy scheme is one.
Right, but even I just don't see how Braylon Allen gets enough work to be top 10 because there's also Brees Hall. So you're going to have both of them top 10 running backs?
Yes, I do.
Sounds like it's time for a bet.
Yeah, how's that going to happen?
I think Hall finishes around RB7, and I think Braylon Allen flirts around RB10.
I'm willing to bet if Brees Allen stay healthy, Allen won't even finish as a RB2.
Ooh, spicy.
Ooh. Won't even finish as RB2 if Brees stay healthy. T-shirt better not.
Sean, you taking that?
Yeah, sure. RB2, so like top 24, and then you got to send me a shirt?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
I like it.
Because that's the only way. I wasn't high on this guy as a prospect, but there's someone that does projections, and they like him as far as his potential. So if Brief was the get out the way, that man he can go crazy.
I see it as a perfect combination.
But I just can't see it happening with both of them there. I can't see it.
Oh, I do. I see it as beautiful magic about to happen, and you guys aren't even going to know what's happening here. Like
that's fine.
Like, oh my God, he's the running back whisperer when I'm not, but I just see it with
Well, I know he's not going to finish as a RB1. I'm just pushing it to the limit and saying, RB2. I know it's not going to be RB1. Like, I'm confident of that.
I mean, even looking at the Lions last year, Montgomery and Gibbs weren't both RB1s. Gibbs was top 3 and Montgomery was what? 14?
You're the bet guy.
As many as I want to.
We got a comment, Alex. This is how many bets y'all gonna have.
Nice. All of them? No, we got all the rookies.
Miracle says Allen, I believe that's Braylon Allen, not Josh, because we talked about them both.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, that's all we got. You want to take us away, Terrence?
All right. As usual, hey, make sure you subscribe to these guys. The Fantasy Blind Spot on Spotify, and make sure you subscribe at that Fantasy Network. And until next time, peace.
Peace.